on, friends? This is Paul Hutchings with another episode of The Good Parts. Today is episode 145, and in today's episode, I want to pass along one quick little golden nugget from literally a multi-billionaire. I had a chance to listen to a podcast yesterday. It was like 2 hours long, and there was one little nugget in there that I thought, ooh, that's a good little nugget, and it matches up with my studies that I've been doing for almost 20 years now of studying how wealthy people think. Wallace Waddell says in his book, The Science of Getting Rich, if you can learn to think like wealthy people think, then you can act like wealthy people act and potentially achieve what wealthy people achieve. So that's kind of the background behind why I'm interested in this stuff. So the podcast was a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was interviewing Elon Musk, of course, who is, I believe, the richest person in the entire world. It's bouncing back between Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk for a while, so not exactly sure where Elon's at today, but obviously he's a multi-billionaire. So there was a point, hey Nick, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. If you're tuning in live or on the replay, comment below, say, what's up? Let me know who you are, where you're plugging in from. I like to engage with everyone as much as I can on these episodes. So anyway, there was a point in the interview where Joe Rogan was talking about all of the hate and the vitriol and the negative press that Elon receives in the media, in the traditional mainstream media. And Elon made this comment. He said, there are some people that when a negative press article comes out, they just wither up and it's the end of the world. They're like, oh no, like a negative article. And here's what Elon said, and this is the golden nugget. He said, he goes, I could give a damn. Make my day. I could give a damn, make my day. And the idea that is there is that if you're going to be who you are meant to be, if you're going to unleash all of your goodness, all of your inner power out into the world, one thing that's essential, hey Arnita over in Columbus, thanks for saying hello. One thing that's essential is that at some point, sooner rather than later, I believe, you get into a state of being where the critics don't matter. They don't matter. And if you can imagine like playing a football game, hey, Veronique over in Belgium, thanks for saying hello. If you can imagine like a football game, right? I played football in high school. And when I played these football games, what I noticed was that in a football game, you've got one side of the field has fans, like all the home team crowd, I remember, hey, Danny, good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. I remember my mom, she would always go to my football games. And talking to my mom, I was the best football player in the world. Now, was I really? No. But my mom thought I was. And that's kind of indicative of the fan side of the field. You've got your fans. They're like cheering you on. Go, you're awesome. You're amazing. Get it done. You can do it. And on the other side of the field, what do you have? You've got all of the fans from the opposing team. And what are those guys doing? They're yelling at the refs when the calls don't go their way. They're cheering their team on, but sometimes they're bashing you and criticizing you. And in the game of life, who do you want to listen to, right? Who do you want to listen to? If you're listening to the critics, you're going to allow them to push you down into the ground, to suppress who you really are, to suppress what you really want to say, to suppress the light and power and love and goodness you have inside your soul. If you're always worried about like what are they going to say, like Napoleon Hill says in his book Think and Grow Rich, what do they say? Who are they anyway, right? They don't matter. So what I picked up from this little nugget is Elon has tuned completely out the haters. That doesn't mean that you don't listen sometimes to accurate and fair criticism for the purpose of getting better, but there are a group of people out there that you could just classify as haters. I remember one of the first videos I made on YouTube. I was living in a trailer house and I saw the internet and I thought, oh wow, leverage. I can get my face and my voice out there. I can find so many people in the world that can be my customers and business partners. And I mustered up the courage to make this video. And I remember I was in a trailer house, right? So I'm like, okay, how am I going to make this video? And I went and got a sheet, like a bed sheet, and I hung it up in front of the curtain because the curtains were kind of wrinkly and dirty and didn't look that great. So I hung up this sheet and I put my camera up and I started the camera and I was like, oh man, I should have ironed that sheet. So I had to pull the sheet down, iron it, put it back up, got the whitest sheet I could find. And then I finally got the courage, and I'm nervous, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what are people going to say? Are they going to laugh at me? Are they going to make fun of me? And I made that video. Gregory Napier says, I don't let negative behavior affect me. I keep it moving 100. Great. And I love that about you, Gregory. Bryce says, isn't it Wendy's that roasts their critics with devastating comebacks on Twitter? I don't know. Do they? That's pretty cool if they do. But they don't care either. Bring it, right? That philosophy, that attitude of, I know who I am. I know where I want to go. I know who it is that I'm serving. I know the goodness and value that I'm bringing to the world. And I'm not going to pay attention to the haters. Well, anyway, the rest of this story, I finally get the courage to make this video. And then I'm watching it and I'm critiquing it. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is this good enough? I don't know. And then I junk it. And then I'd make another one. And then I watch that. And it's not good enough. And then I junk it and I'd make another one. And I don't know how many takes I took, but they were quite a few till I finally got one where I thought, okay, this is okay. I'm going to put this on the internet. So I upload the video to YouTube. And lo and behold, one of the first comments on that video, I ended up not using the sheet because I couldn't get the sheet to look right. So I turned the camera over and I faced my computer behind me. And the computer that I had was one of those like big boxy monitors, that they had back in the day. Like nowadays, we probably all have flat screens. But it was one of those big white boxy monitors. And that was my background as I made this video. And one of the first comments was, if you're so successful and wealthy, which I didn't say I was, but I was talking about like, hey, we can use the internet to grow an income and be free and become more prosperous. He says, if you're so wealthy, why don't you go get a new computer instead of having that old crappy block brick of a monitor in your background? I remember that comment from that day till this. Why? Because it was the first time on the internet that I faced a critic, and I had the opportunity to allow that critic to knock me down on the ground and to flush my dreams down the toilet, or I could do what Elon did and said, I could give a damn, make my day. Isn't that a better response to critics? Like that comment, it's like, making fun of me in my video. I could give a damn, make my day. I'm going to make another video, and then you just keep going. So this was a golden nugget, and I love seeing ways of thinking that I've studied for years and years and years that are written about in books. You read all these books. Wealthy people think this way, and they have this philosophy, and here's what they think about critics, and here's what they think about opinions, and here's what they think about all this kind of stuff. And you glean all this information from books. But I love seeing those ideas played out in real life, and that's what I had an opportunity to pick up yesterday in that podcast interview. One other quick quote I picked up in a book that I've recently been reading by Will Durant. He said, nothing written in any book has any value until it's verified in real life. And so I love seeing ideas we read in books verified in our own lives, but also in the lives of successful people around us, because that's kind of like a reality checker, because there are books out there that are just, philosophizing and, writing what I heard from this person who heard from this person who heard from this person. And sometimes you wonder, like, is this good information? But when you read something like that, overcoming the fear of criticism, getting to that space where your dream is so much more important than what any hater could say. And then you see Elon make a comment like that. You're like, yep, bingo. That is a good way to think and move forward. So anyway, Danny says, haha, that's a great answer. Thanks, Danny. That's my message for today. I do these every day, Monday through Friday. I call them the good parts. The idea is to share the best ideas that have helped me go from living in a trailer house to becoming completely financially free, but also the best new ideas that I'm picking up as I'm working on helping others do those same things. And if you want more content from me like this, I'd love to encourage you to subscribe to me on social media, wherever you're catching this video at, and or to subscribe to my email list and be sure you don't miss out on any future content. You can visit my website, myfreedomfamily.com, subscribe to my email newsletter there, and you'll also see there a business model that I absolutely love. Super profitable, super rewarding. It has tools that you can use to better grow any business, and or it can also be used as a standalone business model to grow residual income much faster than in anything else that I'm aware of. So that's myfreedomfamily.com. So with that, I want to check these last couple of comments. Bryce Tomlinson says, I tell my video critics, you're welcome for saving them time having to search the whole internet for information that I gave them in a few minutes on YouTube. Your welcome is often just the coals on their head that will start a regular conversation that's productive. Cool, that's a great tip. I appreciate that. Another one is thank you. You know, like someone criticizes you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts and leave me your feedback. And I really do. Why? Because even negative comments help our engagement, which is a signal to the algorithm that like, hey, this is a good video. It's popular. You know, people are commenting on it. Nick Romani says, I used to let negativity affect me, but I realized one day to take those and use them as fuel to propel me. That reminds me, Nick, I listened to a training back in the early days when I first got started, you know, being an entrepreneur from home. And there was a billionaire, and I forget his name, but he was a verified bona fide billionaire who had built a huge business in the debt arena, like helping people with their debt. I forget exactly what it was he was doing. Bill Bartman, I think, is his name. Yes, thanks. It came to me. But he used to say that he would keep a list of all of the negative things people said to him and about his dream, like all the haters that said it wouldn't work, you know, you're never going to go anywhere, blah, 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 blah. He would keep that list in his office desk, and he would look at it as motivation to prove them wrong. So anyway, Nick, you reminded me of that with your comment. And Greg Napier says, when they go low, I always go high. I like that. You're a man of class, Greg. I like that about you. So thanks for sharing that. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you get out there, take action, go for your dreams. And I'll be back tomorrow on the next episode of The Good Parts. Take care and bye for now.